Devs, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Derek. I'm a front-end developer based out of Los Angeles, California, and in today's video, I'm continuing my series that I've dubbed Method Mondays, where I go over every single array method there is in JavaScript. And next up on the list for today, we were taking a look at Array.fromAsync. So let's just hop into our editor and get into it. Okay, so Array.fromAsync. Right out the gate, it returns a promise that resolves to a fully populated array. It works with both synchronous and asynchronous iterables, making it useful for handling data from APIs, so that's pretty useful. And it comes with a built-in mapping function to map over async data sources without needing to use promise.all. So that's definitely useful. So for our first example, let's resolve an array of promises. So here we have an array of promises. We got promise 1, promise 2, and promise 3. Now let's utilize array.fromAsync. We'll just pass it promises and we'll store this in a variable and we'll call it result. Now because fromAsync returns a promise, we can then utilize .then, and then what do we want it to do when it resolves? Let's just console.log that response. And you can see here down in our console, we get those promises that are returned. We can open that up. We got promise 1, 2, and 3. And here is our fully populated array. So that's resolving an array of promises. Next up, let's map over an array asynchronously. And to do this, we're going to tap into that mapping function that comes baked into array.fromAsync. Let's say we've got an array of numbers here, 1 to 5. So let's use array.fromSync here and pass it numbers. Then we're going to use that baked in mapping function here. And that requires the async keyword. And then our function declaration, we'll open that up and we'll have that take in num. And then we just want to take num, multiply it by 2, and we of course want to return this. And again, fromAsync returns a promise, so then we can quite literally tap into our then and hit it with another console.log just to see our result. And there we have it. So we had an array, used array.fromAsync to map over it asynchronously, did a little bit of work here, just multiplied each value by 2, and then logged that to the console. So that's mapping over an array asynchronously. And for our final example, let's fetch data from an API and convert it to an array. So we've got const URLs here, which is pointing to 2 URL endpoints. This is just from jsonplaceholder.com. These are just some fake to-dos from a to-do list. It's just fake dummy data to play with. That's basically it. Let's drop in our array.fromAsync. We'll pass it URLs. And again, like the previous example, we're going to use that baked in mapping function. We need the async keyword here. Let's open up our function. This function will take in the URL. To fetch the data from these endpoint URLs, we'll use JavaScript's baked in fetch API, pass it URL. We're using the async keyword here, so if we're going to do this asynchronously, we need the await keyword here before our fetch, and then we can just store all of this in a variable called response. Then we'll take the response, type that down here, we're going to JSONify it, and then we just want to simply return that. Now remember, this returns a promise, so we can tap into our then. And like before, we'll just log that to the console. And we've got our array of 2 items here. Open that up, and I'll bring this up just a little bit. And you can see we have our 2 fictional to-do items here. We can open up that user ID, ID1. Have we completed this to-do? No, that's false. Here's the second one. User ID2, some placeholder text, and we have not completed that one either. So this is working. So that's fetching data from an API and converting it to an array using array.fromAsync. And that's about it. So devs, hopefully you found this helpful. I will link the code down in the description. So that's going to do it for array.fromAsync on this Method Monday. If you found this helpful, like this video, feel free to leave a comment. I will catch you all in the next one. But as always, if you want to support the channel, all you have to do is